Good morning. Good morning. For all who are here with us at our headquarters, as well as you who are able to join us online, welcome to the World Messianic Church Miroku Association monthly appreciation service. We have gathered today to express our gratitude to God and Meishu Sama for the protection, help, and countless blessings we have received this past month, and to ask permission to serve the divine plan throughout this coming month. Please remain seated and pray along silently for the opening prayer.
Great God of light, with our deepest respect, we have gathered here at the World Messianic Church of America, Miroku Association headquarters, to celebrate our monthly appreciation service. We humbly offer you our prayers of praise, appreciation for protection, help, and the countless blessings we have received this past month, and to ask for permission, guidance, and inspiration to serve in your divine work of the construction of paradise on earth. Please accept the materialization of our gratitude through our in-person and virtual presence, our monetary offerings, and by guiding our relatives and friends. Please give us the strength and wisdom to practice these year's guidelines in our everyday life. Helping others dedicate themselves to the construction of paradise on earth through our practices of faith is the path to our salvation. May we receive greater light and spiritual strength to realize Meishu Sama's ideals in our hearts, our homes, and our communities, so we become effective instruments of your divine light to bring happiness to everyone around us. May the new age of happiness and everlasting peace, where love, goodwill, and understanding prevail, soon become a reality.
Please join us for the Amatsu Norito, the prayer of heaven, followed by the Miroku prayer, pages 11 and 13 of your prayer book.
Taka amahara ni kamzumarimasu. Kamurogi kamurogi no mikoto mochite. Sumemi oya kamu izanagi no mikoto. Tsukushi no himuka no tachihana no odo no ahani harani misogi harai kamo toki ne narimaseru Mamori tamae sakihare tamae. Miroku o mikami. Mamori tamae sakihare tamae. 教えみよや主の神守りたまえ先はえたまえ教えみよや主の神守りたまえ先はえたまえ Kamnagara Tamashi Haemase Kamnagara Tamashi Haemase Great God of light, creator and giver of all life, in accordance with your divine will, the long age of night draws to an end. Your radiant divine light, shining ever more brilliantly, awakens the dawn of the glorious age of light, a time long awaited by all of humanity. We thank you for guiding us to your divine plan, and for the privilege of channeling and receiving your grace. May our spirits and bodies be illuminated and purified as we live your truth given to us by Meishu Sama. Make us pure and effective instruments of your divine light, so that we may serve you and all those with whom we come in contact. May paradise on earth be realized, with health, peace, and prosperity, a reality in our lives. Great God of light, bless and protect us. Radiate our souls with your divine light, so that we may truly become instruments of your great plan.
Please be seated. We will now receive our Jare.
Obrigadamente. Boa noite.
Jury is now concluded. Let us listen to a teaching of Meishu Sama.
Excerpts from the teaching Study the Divine Writings regularly. As you all know, in our efforts to spread our work, the two means we have used up to now have been Jore and printed publications. From now on, however, we are also going to let people know about our church through lectures and group discussions. This will be spreading our teachings through the ear. So besides our efforts to awaken people through Jore and through the use of the eye, the method of appealing through the ear is being added. Of course, reaching people through the ear means we will let them know what our faith is all about by the use of spoken words, which will convey to them how wonderful our religion is. By utilizing this three-in-one method, we will experience still better results. In order that you may be an effective instrument to help listeners understand the purposes of our work, you yourself must have ample knowledge about our faith. You should be able to impress others with the fact that ours is an outstanding religion with a marvelous philosophy. As a result, you should be successful in inspiring them the desire to join our church. In order that you may impress others with your zeal and sincerity, you must have full understanding of what you are talking about. Therefore, you should do your utmost to increase and deepen your knowledge about our work. And for that purpose, the best thing you can do is read and study our teachings as much as possible. When you are asked questions, which will often happen, you must be able to give accurate answers. Otherwise, those who ask will surely not be satisfied. However difficult any question may be, you should be able to answer it in a way that will satisfy the questioner. Another thing I would like to mention is that when members ask me questions, they often refer to subjects which can be found in my writings. They do so because they have been negligent about reading our teachings. I advise you to read them as much as possible. The more you read, the deeper your faith will become, and the more cleansed your spiritual body will be. If you neglect to study these teachings, your spiritual strength will gradually decrease. The more your spiritual understanding advances, the more you are drawn to the teachings until you are studying them with a new intensity and fervor. It is good to read them over and over again, digesting the teachings and making them an integral part of your being. The more you study them, the more clearly you will come to comprehend God's will. November 29th, 1950.
let's have greetings from the President of World Messianic Church Miroku Association, Reverend Marco Negrão.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
First, I will have a nice, refreshing one. Thank you very much. So first, I want to express my gratitude to all your support during the past month, all those who are also present here at our service in person, those who are joining us remotely online. Thank you very much. This is the 4th of July weekend, and by the way, this is not in my script. I was thinking during the group today that someone talks about cosmic cycles, and in the cycle of 1,000 years, so America, the United States, is the 250th anniversary. So this is a cycle. I think this is a very important cycle. So in the scope of 1,000 years, so this will be equivalent to the spring phase, the first 250 years. So the spring phase is like the phase of the youth. And being a youth, maybe this nation also acted with a lot of energy, sometimes impulsively. And now in this next cycle of the next 250 years, I think it would be more of a phase of adulthood, applying what was learned from the youth to fulfill its mission. According to Meir Sama, the real mission of America, of the United States, is to ensure and promote peace of all things. People may not believe that, but that's the very mission. So I think this is very auspicious of we are entering this new cycle. I heard through the grapevine that there is a World Cup going on. Is that true? and I hope the country you are rooting for, the nation you are rooting for, is still playing. So many others were already disqualified, right? So, however, for instance, players, when they win a game, they inevitably attract the resentment, anger, and other negative feelings from the losing players, as well from the fans, and sometimes from a whole nation. In the process, they accumulate spiritual cloud. I won't, but I'm accumulating spiritual cloud, right? So this is very true for all sorts of games and competitions, not just in sports. So there is this teaching called wrongdoing and the fundamental cause of illness. And it goes like this. Acquired pollution of the blood is something everyone understands well, since no person is capable of living this life without doing wrong in some way or another. Of course, wrongdoing is of many kinds and degrees. There is legal wrongdoing, moral wrongdoing, social wrongdoing, and so on. Some wrongs manifest themselves in actual physical action, whereas other kinds are only wrongdoing of the mind. Though it may sound too severe, Jesus Christ's statement that a man who lusts after a woman in his heart has already committed adultery with her is certainly not mistaken. Again, it may be severe, but there is a point of truth in that. All these small acts and thoughts of daily life, hating someone, wishing another person harm, lustful desire, though apparently insignificant in themselves, they can become serious if allowed to accumulate over a long period. Superiority of the kind gained by victory in a competition or social success can cause the person who has not succeeded to resent or feel envious of the more fortunate person. This kind of resentment can be the cause of sin as well. Unnecessary taking of life, mostly meaning like killing animals, for instance, being lazy, attacking others, wasting material possessions, oversleeping in the morning, breaking promises, falsehood, and many other actions and attitudes are all sins committed without being felt as such. Man, how much sin I accumulated by oversleeping when I was young. My parents probably were disappointed. Though small individually, yet over a long period of time, these sins can become numerous and accumulate as clouds in the soul. Contrary to what might seem to be the case, even newly born infants have acquired clouds. The case may be different after children leave their parents' sides to become independent, but as long as they are under their protection, children must share the sins of their fathers and mothers. This was a question posed to Meishu Sama. Meishu Sama, when we are engaged in business, we have to use some tricks of the trade, for we have business rivals. Also, under the present registration system, this is a system that was implemented in Japan, we cannot help being engaged in a commercial war, so I believe we must receive a considerable amount of negative vibrations of jealousy. In order to dispel the clouds formed from this, is it enough for me to be doing my best to perform good deeds for society? Then Meishu Sama answered that. In the business world, it is true, a certain amount of bargaining cannot be helped. As you have to make a profit, it is all right to bargain if you do so moderately. Rivals cannot be helped either, because there is always competition. However, to try to undermine or ruin a business rival constitutes a sin. So for your own sake, you should not do that. And whenever you can, find some time from business, and whatever money you can spare, use them for doing good deeds. The best thing you can do is to spend time and money for the cause of the World Messianic Church. Then everything will go well for you. Those are Meishu Sama's words. And all those teachings, Meishu Sama referred to the teachings himself as divine writings. In Japanese, as Goshinsho, or simply Shinsho, which translates as divine writing, because that's what Meishu Sama said. Meishu Sama was learning from the things that was coming from his mouth and that his secretary was putting in writing. And he would say, wow, God says such wonderful things, right? So that's why we many times refer to the teachings as divine writings. For instance, there is this collection of teachings called True Health, which in Portuguese is known as A Outra Face da Doença. The original in Japanese is called Shinji no Kenko, which translated means a health as revealed by God. It's okay, Minister? Health as revealed by God, right? It's a linguistic. So it's a specialist. Now these essays are gradually being included in our new collection called Teachings of Meishu Sama. So far, we are on the 7th volume. They and there is an eighth volume being released soon in Portuguese. That means we are also going to translate that, and we are going to make them available soon. I will talk more about these publications. So, the message today, right? The importance of studying the divine writings, those words. In the Bible, there is the Gospel of John, that there is this passage that says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So when we read Meisha's teachings with this understanding, right, with this importance, taking each word very seriously or trying to focus, then we ourselves gain. We receive strength, we purify our clouds, but I realize many times, this is not easy to do. Even when we try to focus. Okay, I'm going to read a teaching, for instance. In the beginning, I'm focused. But in the middle of my reading, my mind goes off. Brazil is going to play this afternoon. I hope it will win. I hope we will not receive the resentment from Norway. So that and my eyes are still following the words, but I'm not concentrating. So sometimes if I have to really make the most of the teaching, oh my God, I have to start from the top again because my mind went off, right? This happens. This is natural. I believe it doesn't happen only with me. But even during this process, Meishu-sama said, even if your mind dispersed, or you fell asleep, still there is the light coming from the word. So there is the great benefit. Many times we don't have others to give us joy when we are working, when we are traveling, right? But if we can read a teaching, so we are going to receive light through the reading. That's what Meishu taught us. In today's teachings, so we had the excerpt, and there's some other parts, and I would like to go through that. In order that you may be an effective instrument to help listeners understand the purposes of our work, you yourself must have ample knowledge about our faith. You should be able to impress others with the fact that ours is an outstanding religion with a marvelous philosophy. As a result, you should be successful in inspiring them the desire to join our work. That's our focus, right? We are working very hard trying to guide others in many ways. We had a wonderful Art and Light exhibition this past month, and so many people work very hard to distribute flowers of life through the neighborhood. Many came, families came, parents with children. So that's a strong effort we are making. We don't know the results, right? That's up to God and Meishu-sama, but we are doing our part. And I want to really appreciate all those who worked very hard. They were taking months to prepare for the event. So this is wonderful. So we have the teachings to inspire us. So when we talk to others what we are all about, then we have more means of conveying what Meishu-sama and our movement, our church is all about. Meishu-sama continued, I often hear members say that in this kind of situation, they are not good at speaking, that they cannot express their thoughts skillfully enough. I feel this kind of thinking is wrong. And it happens many times. People bring someone, oh, minister, please talk to my friend here because I don't know how to explain well. This happens a lot, right? But how about if I'm not here, for instance, in terms of our headquarters, right? Reverend Romeus is not here. How are you going to do, right? As I always say, it is not skill in speaking that can touch the hearts of other people. It is the makoto, the love that can move them. That sincerity touches the hearts of listeners and moves their souls. This is all that is important. The manner of speaking, whether it is eloquent or labored, is of secondary importance. In order that you may impress others with your zeal and sincerity, you must have full understanding of what you are talking about. Therefore, you should do your utmost to increase and deepen your knowledge about our work. And for that purpose, the best thing you can do is read and study our teachings as much as possible. When you are asked questions, which will often happen, you must be able to give accurate answers. Otherwise, those who ask will surely not be satisfied. However difficult any question may be, you should be able to answer it in a way that will satisfy the questioner. Here I would like to offer you a bit of advice. Some people give wrong answers when they are driven into corners. If questioners press very hard, they may even answer evasively. This is absolutely wrong. As one who believes in God, you should always tell nothing but the truth about spiritual things. It is not permissible to do otherwise. What you do not know, you can admit honestly you don't know. Often some people like to pretend that they know something because they are afraid others will despise them if they do not have enough knowledge. This is the worst thing that you can do, for it brings about reverse effects. If there is something you do not know, and you say you do not know, the listener will realize you are an honest person, that you are trustworthy. However great any individual may be, one cannot expect to know everything. No one can. So if there is something you do not know, you are not to put to shame by admitting it. Another thing I would like to mention is that when members ask me questions, they often refer to subjects which can be found in my teachings. They do so because they have been negligent about reading our teachings. I advise you to read them as much as possible. The more you read, the deeper your faith will become, and the more cleansed your spiritual body will be. If you neglect to study the teachings, your spiritual strength will gradually decrease. The more your spiritual understanding advances, the more you are drawn to the teachings, until you are studying them with a new intensity and fervor. It is good to read them over and over again, digesting the teachings and making them an integral part of your being. The more you study them, the more clearly you will come to comprehend God's will. So this, again, going back to our publication, this revised and enlarged compilation of Meishu Samba's teachings in English. I will read actually the foreword, because all the foreword for these teachings, they are about the same for this collection of teachings of Meishu Samba. This revised enlarged compilation revision of Meishi Sama's teachings in English does not disqualify the outstanding work done previously by various translators and editors. Herein, however, we have aimed to organize this present compilation following the same order as has been presented in the most recent Portuguese editions, thus facilitating the research process of any persons involved through simplified identification which teachings in English may correspond to the ones presented in Portuguese. This happens with me a lot. I choose a teaching for the month here at the headquarters. But there in some of our adorable centers, the great majority speak only Portuguese, let's say. So the minister or the person, the center head, is trying to see which one corresponds to the Portuguese language because of the order that particular issue. So regarding changes in relation to previous editions, within the 5 volumes of Teachings of Meishi, these were the previous editions. We had 5 volumes of this. Some essays which we are including in the book Fragments from the Teachings of Meishi Sama have been included in this compilation, but in the place of abbreviated texts from the fragments, we proceed to include the entirety of the original teachings when these could be identified. So within this book, some teachings are being published in English for the first time, actually. Each volume of this new collection, they were revised more than 10 times. So it's been an interesting process. So we have this printing company that is by order, right? So you go to our website, you order the book, they will print and send to you. So in order to have the final product, so there was much back and forth. Each time we send, so they will say, okay, here's a PDF for you to give the final go ahead. And in the process, oh, there is a little error here. There is a mistake. For you to have an idea, in one of them, the only error there was a period. At the end of a poem, there was a period missing. But I said, well, should I disregard that? Right? Because each time that will happen, so talk about delaying the publication of another week. But I can't. I simply can't. The teachings are very sacred, right? And we have to be very professional. Even if you will delay, it's another week, but I want to do my very best. Not just me, there are other people collaborating. They are collaborators to make this project happen. No. Since some allowed me to see that period missing, no, I will include the missing, send them again. Yeah, that was a mistake, please. So probably this week or the next weeks, we are going to have all of them ready for you to order. And for instance, regarding this particular aspect, there is this from the daily inspirations. There is guidance for living in this world, and there is this poem and the teaching, and it starts like this: people who do not neglect even the smallest unimportant matters prove to be those capable of accomplishing great deeds. Those who accomplish great things do so by paying attention to even the smallest details. If you think only on a grand scale, without concern for the little things, you end up in failure. It is good to have big ideas, but the small ones are just as necessary. If you neglect small matters, you cannot achieve big goals. So that was kept being in the back of my mind. I was remembering that. So I will not neglect that period. I will put the period and ask them to make a correction. Now, another topic today is the very last call to the pilgrimage to Japan. We have to give to Japan the final number of how many people are participating. Last chance. And here are some of the things that Meishama talked about pilgrimage. First, he was talking about the art museum. First art museum was in Hakone. So there is the title of this passage is called An Aspect of the Pilgrimage to the Sacred Grounds. Okay? The museum, he was talking about the first museum, which was the Hakone Museum, that he himself, he made all the art collection, and he himself created, designed the architectural design for that museum. The museum is gradually taking shape, and I've heard that it's becoming well known in higher circles. God, first of all, uses the museum as the most effective means to save intellectuals and upper class people who normally would not approach such matters. The museum is ideal for that. There is no other way to attract these people. Once they set foot here, they will be spiritually bound, and that creates the motivation for them to be saved, whether they like it or not. Thus, the museum is part of this arrangement. Even if people are not inclined to listen to religious discussions, sermons, lectures, and are dismissive, thinking that a new religion is merely a deceptive invention, it is difficult for such people through ordinary means. But with the museum, these people are naturally drawn to it. Without saying a word, just by coming here, they will spiritually connect. Eventually, they will hear our message. In short, the spiritual obstacles will weaken. I'm truly impressed by how well God manages this. And another passage, which makes some encouragement: attend the service, the sacred grounds, once or twice a year. Of course, he was talking about those who live in Japan. It's much easier for them to go there once or twice a year, right? But for us who live outside of Japan, once or twice in a lifetime, at least, making that effort, right? So important. Members should visit their local churches or branches, like the headquarters or Jorei Center, at least once a month. Why we have a monthly appreciation service. As to the sacred grounds, they should visit here at least once or twice a year, if at all possible. And another one. Your determination opens the way. It is when you are not on guard in your mind that various obstacles arise and you're coming to the sacred grounds. When you plan to come to Atami, where we have the hall of worship, the crystal hall, right? When you plan to come to Atami to attend a service on a specific date, and you are determined to do so, you should be able to do without any setbacks or problems. It is when your thinking is uncertain and you say to yourself, I will go if everything works out all right, or I will not go if circumstances won't allow me to do so. That some obstacles will sure to arise. This is because negative forces are watching for a chance to stop you from being in the greatly intensified light. When you are off guard, you give those forces a chance to operate. If you are determined to go, problems or no problems, even in rain or a storm, if your determination is strong, there's no room for negative forces to enter, and nothing can keep you from attending services here. So make your plans, make your decision, talk to your minister, right? And let us know today, because today is the final day. Oh, I made up my door. I didn't know that was so important. Okay? One more thing. I heard this story many years ago, and I kept repeating it. And then I thought that I was going to share, but then I made a more thorough research, which it is about, and I remember because we have one of our neighbors here. He sells Persian rugs. So very, very nice ones. And I heard this story, when Persians are making the rugs, they on purpose, they do a certain imperfection to symbolize that only God is perfect. So I heard this story, I thought, oh, this is a wonderful kind of religious feeling, and I kept repeating the story. But then as I made my research, so this is probably not true, so I will share with you what I learned. Okay? So there is this myth of the Persian flaw. That's how it's called. And why I'm sharing this? Because it is related to what I was talking about, making the teachings perfect, right? That, it is a sin to make the teachings perfect because only God is perfect, right? No, it is not. So the legend states that because only God or Allah is perfect, rug makers would deliberately place a wrong color knot or a distorted pattern into the work. To build something completely flawless would supposedly be an act of arrogance. While this story is frequently shared by rug dealers and folklore enthusiasts, textile historians note that weavers do not intentionally sabotage their own work. Master weavers spend months or years striving for the absolute highest tier of symmetry, precision, and beauty to honor their craft. In reality, natural imperfections happen. So genuine hand-knotted rugs always have mistakes. But they happen organically, rather than by design. These variations occur for very practical reasons. First, there is the human element. A standard 9 by 12 Persian rug can contain over 1 to 2 million individually hand-tied knots. Over the months it takes to weave, a weaver's tension changes. A weaver's tension changes, or a minor counting error naturally slips into a dense, complex pattern. Also, there are color shifts. You will often see sudden horizontal bands of a slightly different shade within the same color block. This is called a brush. It happens because wool is dyed in small batches. When one batch runs out, the next batch of yarn, even using the exact same recipe, absorbs the vegetable dye differently due to weather, wool oils, or boiling times. Also, there is what is called loom warping. Tribal or nomadic rugs are made on portable wooden looms pinned to the ground. When the tribe moves, again, they are nomadic people, The loom is disassembled and reassembled, which suddenly alters the tension and creates a charmingly crooked borders or asymmetrical shapes. So, what is the true philosophy then? Though the flaws are accidental, the acceptance of them does align beautifully with Eastern philosophy. Rather than unraveling weeks of work to fix a minor microscopic asymmetry, weavers embrace the error. It serves as an organic stamp of human authenticity, separating a soulful living piece of art from a stereo machine-made duplicate. And the very last thing, but not least, we have a new headquarters schedule starting tomorrow. So every Monday we are going to close. So we were already closed every Thursday. Now we are going to be closed also on Mondays. On the other days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, we are open during the prayer time. That means we open the center from 9:30 to 11 and 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. So the prayers will still happen, and if you want to come during the day, make an appointment. Send us a message, call us, in the email or something, but especially message. It will be faster. Or I would like to come, I need my Hikari to be replaced, so we can organize our time, especially to make these publications. This is one of the things available. So we needed to consider a lot of time to dedicate to make them available to you. Because besides these teachings of Meishu Sama, the next project is Our Daily Bread, volumes 1 and 2, which are the extended version of the daily inspirations. There are the volumes 1 and 2 of reminiscences about Meishu Sama. So these projects, they are ready, but they need to have final revision, and that requires a lot of attention and time to make that happen for you. And besides the printed version, also the e-book of these publications. Okay, so that's one of the reasons, but also because we are focusing and creating effort on doing home visits. Lots of home visits. And during those home visits, there are all Hikari presentations happening in those places as well. So in order to attend that, many people want to be visited. So we need to sacrifice something. And so that's the reason for the new schedule. Enjoy your month and success in the engagement of your practices of faith. Thank you very much.
This concludes our service today. Thank you for joining us, and we wish you a blessed day.